Hi, I'm John Hart. Welcome back to Mr. America Hart. I'm over here in Studio B today, okay? Studio B, right here. And listen, today we're discussing Mike Mentzer's diet. Now, I'm going to break it down for you the way that he did it when he was competing, as well as what he had all of the clients do after that, and what I carried going forward as far as, how I trained my clients for the last, 30 years since the time that I was influenced by Mike and when he trained me. So I'm also going to wave a few books across the screen as we go too, because I'm going to use them as sources, okay? So we can be exact about this. And one of them, right over here, you'll see I have a heavy-duty journal, okay? This is a book of Mike's. It's a classic. It's a collector's item right here. You'll notice I'm being very gentle with the pages because they've never been bent, and this is a mint copy of heavy-duty journal. I'll get to in a moment how you might be able to get one of them yourself. But this right here on page 38 of the heavy-duty journal, I'm going to quote this exactly the way he wrote it, okay? First paragraph, carbohydrates are absolutely essential in the bodybuilder's diet because they provide the fuel required for high-intensity muscular contractions. In addition to supplying energy, carbohydrates in the form of glycogen, a string of glucose molecules stuck together in stored muscle, is where each gram of glycogen holds 3 grams of water. So he goes on to describe how people who go on a low carbohydrate diet tend to drop quite a bit of weight fast. And this is true, and that's because you're breaking up glycogen from the muscle tissue. And that means the glycogen, the muscle sugar, plus the water is being released into your system and being used as fuel. So going on a low carbohydrate diet automatically shrinks your muscles. We're talking about size now, right? Where size matters, where we want it in our muscles. So there is an immediate answer for some of you right there, okay? And I happen to agree with this myself. I've done this diet myself. The second paragraph goes on to say, any right-thinking bodybuilder would not go low in carbohydrates, even if he is trying to lose fat. As long as the daily caloric intake is below maintenance levels, you will lose fat. That's a fact. The best way to lose fat is on a reduced calorie diet comprised of 60% carbohydrates, 25% protein, and 15% fat. Wow. So what we see right here, I just gave you a direct quote from that book. Okay, so I'm going to take this, put it off to the side for a moment, and talk to you. 60% carbohydrates on a caloric basis. That's quite a bit of carbohydrates. If you're, let's just say, young, mid-20s, 30s, even your early 40s, this worked quite well for myself even. I was competing the entire time, every other year at least. And those carbohydrates served me well. And I was able to do exactly what was written in this book. And no, in natural bodybuilding, I was not considered to be small by any means. So I had retained quite a bit of lean muscle mass when I would diet down. And off season, as you all know, you're eating carbohydrates anyway in your off season. So the diet worked. I controlled my calories. I burned body fat on a predictable manner over many weeks leading up to a contest. So I would get ripped on that type of diet. And you'll see recently I shot a video with my good friend Ian Duckett. And I have an Ian book. Let me pull this out too. Here's one, Natural Progression from Ian Duckett. You should get you all a copy. It's on Amazon. I got this in one day. So it's a great book. Back to Basics 12-week program by Ian Duckett. Ian, in the video that I'll put a link down below here for you, he is a world champion. He's also 2-time Mr. Britain, 1-time Mr. Europe. Ian went on to say how his diet has been comprised of mainly carbohydrates his entire career. So he's another one that's been living it. So there we go. We have a few of us now. And not just us who have been competing, but using it on the clients. Still giving them enough carbohydrates to feel comfortable, balanced diet, maybe not as high as 60%, because again, we're dealing with, I mentioned, younger. So what happens? As you get a little bit older, that high 60% carbohydrate number is a little bit more difficult it's more difficult to burn off body fat with. So if you're on a diet to burn off body fat, we have to go ahead and lower that carbohydrate number a little bit, raise up the protein, raise up the fats a little bit more. So yes, as you get older, let's just say arbitrarily speaking, over 50, okay? You get over 50, it's a good number. I mean, in my case, I could think about that is about when it hit me. I had to start making adjustments. Annually, you're dealing with a different body, basically, as you get older, okay? And we're all getting older. If you were alive last year and you're alive this year, you're older. Okay, so I'm not making get old jokes here. I'm just specifically speaking to every one of you. Doesn't matter if you're 24 going on 25, or if you're 44 going on 45, or 64 going on 65. Doesn't matter. As the years go by, you're going to have to make adjustments. So based on your individual reaction to a diet that's mainly comprised of carbohydrates, you can go ahead and adjust that diet based on your results week to week as you diet out. Now, Mike went on to say and describe in all of his books how eating those carbohydrates allowed him to have plenty of energy. It allowed him to reduce body fat levels because he kept his calories under control. The only thing that I don't like is that even at that 60% number, 25% protein calorically, the fats are so low at 15%. It truly is. Here we are in 2023. I'm shooting this video. And, we're talking about now, since he wrote that was 1979, his original heavy-duty journal. And I'm pulling out another book right here to show you in a moment. And even back then, that was a high carbohydrate diet. In the 70s, there was a big push to get carbohydrates for performance in sports. And the USDA, which is what Mike's reference point was at the time, and he says it in that book, that we're assuming that it's an unbiased organization, okay, based just on science. That's what the assumption was. Well, I know a lot of you all now, after going through some of the things we've gone through over the last, just the last 5 years alone, would never trust a USDA recommendation or any governmental body. I do understand that. So it is left up to the individual at this point to figure out what is best for them. And probably I would recommend getting some good blood work on a regular basis, like quarterly. Check your blood work. It's a cheap test to have done and see how your blood work is doing on top of your muscle mass. So don't just wing it. See how your health is doing. You got to be healthy if you're going to plan on doing this for 30 or 40 years. So what am I doing? I'm lifting up right now another book, Heavy Duty 1. Okay. As some of you all know, I've had a storage facility for years, and I took out all these boxes, and I had quite a large number of heavy-duty 1s and heavy-duty 2s. I sold off the heavy-duty 2s, and now I have these heavy-duty 1s, as well as some heavy-duty journals and Muscles in Minutes. This is another book that Mike put together. It was not big-time selling, but it contains a ton of information. And so I have 3 different books that we're running with right now. And Muscles in Minutes, so this one is pristine and mint condition. So are the covers. They were wrapped in plastic in the boxes, and so were these. So the paint on the covers aren't even faded. So if any of you all have an interest in these, you can go ahead and hit down below in the video description. I'll put a link. You can go ahead and get to my website and shoot an inquiry as far as asking about what kind of rates I'd be charging on that to get that book on out to you. The heavy-duty journals that I just point out to you, I only have a few of them, very few, and this is the nicest one. This is in mint condition. The other ones have never been read, but they were not stored in plastic, so they have a little bit of a faded color just after 25 years in storage. And I want to show you all something really, really special before I go on with my story about Mike's diet. So it's a little commercial for these books. So some of you are really interested in them. This right here. This is a German copy of Heavy Duty, the original. And you see the size difference between the regular Heavy Duty and the German copy. So it's a smaller book. It's certainly a collector's issue. It is 100% pristine, never been read. And cover, because it was not stored in plastic, of course, you see the difference between the white and it's just off-white now, 25 years later. So we have one of these. If you want a German copy of Heavy Duty, go ahead and get to me. through the link down below in the video description, and I'll send you out a quote on that one as well. All right, back to the story here. Mike Mentzer's heavy-duty diet. And how did any of it change, at least in my world? And how did I change it or alter it for clients, myself, clients, going forward? The only adjustment, major one, was the first one that I just mentioned to you. We went ahead and, if there are ones who are older, past 40, 50 at that point in their lives, and their body's not reacting super well to a high carbohydrate diet, let's say like 55, 60%, then yes, we lower it to 45, 50 on a caloric basis. Okay? You have to do a little bit of math to understand what I mean by on a caloric basis. And you can use an app to figure it out. There you go. Use something like a MyFitnessPal or Lose It. Lose It's a great one. Lose It app. Either one of those are great to calculate your macros, the percentages on a caloric basis. I did mention the fats a moment ago, and yes, I go a little higher on the fats than most. So even on a younger person, I still keep the healthier fats healthier. Okay, high omega-3 fats up around 20%, 25% of the diet. So I go more with a 20 to 25% fats, 25% protein, and then, of course, the remainder would be about 50% carbohydrates. This type of a diet is spectacular with regards to performing in the gym. You have plenty of fuel for high-intensity muscular contractions. It's awesome for the look as well, for your physique, because the muscles stay nice and full. You just have to control those calories, bring them down methodically over the course of several weeks or months leading into an event, whether it's a bodybuilding show, a wedding, a vacation, whatever you're choosing to do. But methodically, you have to bring them down in small increments. Okay? So if you are interested and you need more details than what I'm giving you right there, then you can go ahead and you can check out either one of the books that I just waved in front of the screen, or you can go to my website, mrmedicaheart.com, and I have Physique 101. I wrote that one, and that's for pretty much all, beginner, advanced, intermediate, and it does break down for you how to go about breaking your diet down calorically over weeks or months, and then also how to reverse out of it. There's something a lot of you all don't think about. How do I reverse out of this? When I've been increasing my activity, I have been increasing or decreasing my calories, but eating really clean and getting that diet together and getting really lean. So there's a way of doing it. So anyway, that diet, in fact, Mike wrote in Heavy Duty Nutrition as well, one of his little pamphlets from years ago. He also wrote in that one, which I do not have any extras for you to show in front of the camera, Heavy Duty Nutrition. He went into detail about what he did before his contests, getting ready for the Olympia. He did eat dried fruit. He did eat bread. He did eat ice cream. He had all of that. Pancakes, sure, but controlled. That's the catch. He knew exactly how many calories he was eating, and you should too. And if you're going to ever experiment and use some sort of a refined carbohydrate in your prep, then you better be sure that you know how many calories are in it and you're controlling yourself, not going overboard, because that's the tendency. With some people, it'll trip their brain out and get it to go too far. So those are the only adjustments that I've ever made to heavy-duty nutrition for myself. As a client got older, when we're talking about going up into the 70s or 60s and 70s, let's say, yes, the protein would have to go up a little bit higher, and that's because they usually don't break down the protein and absorb it as good, okay, as when they were younger. Enzymes. Okay, it's a whole other discussion. We'll get into another time. But I adjust the protein, increase the protein, and reduce the carbohydrates somewhat to about 40% at that point. So I drop about 10% per decade on the carbs after we get past 50 years old. And that's pretty much it. Simple as it goes, just like that. Did Mike use this type of nutrition to compete himself? Yes, he did. He got in amazing shape with it. Here's some pictures for you. Yes, he did use PEDs. Yes, he did use bodybuilding drugs. Yes, he did. Let's just say it, okay? He admitted all in unison. Yes, he did, okay? And that's fine. He's spoken about this publicly in all articles and in his seminars. But now we have a couple of natural guys I just brought up. Myself, Ian Duckett, that had been living on carbohydrates, competing on carbohydrates, that did fine, that got absolutely ripped. Ian gets shredded beyond measure. Here's a picture of him for you. So it's not just us, though. It's the clients, too. We've had that happen as well. Ian spoke in that interview that I had with him most recently about the world champion using H.I.T, high-intensity training. He spoke most recently about how his wife cannot have as many carbohydrates as he has, and to support her, he'll drop the carbs once in a while when she's getting ready for an event. Well, he gets to see how his body reacts to that. Not too good, my friends, but that's him. Of course, you have to alter or tailor the diet for the individual. That would be his wife. She goes on a lower carbohydrate diet. So you see what I mean? You need to experiment with it, try it out, and see how your body reacts, and then base everything off of that. No matter what I or anybody else says, we're just an example, okay? That's what it is. We're an example. So that was the heavy-duty diet. High carbohydrate, low to moderate protein, and fairly low fat. High quality calories, though, all the way. So look, again, if you have an interest in any of these books that I've waved in front of you, in front of the camera, German, heavy-duty one, regular, heavy-duty one, heavy-duty journal, Muscles in Minutes, Muscles in Minutes, feel free to go ahead and hit me up on the link that I put down below. If you also want to go ahead and find yourself a copy of Ian Duckett's books, he has all of his main books on Amazon. You just type his name in there and you'll find his books as well. A little commercial for Ian right there. Or go to my website and get mine. There you go. So that's it for today. From my heart to you, John Hart. Before you leave, off to my left, you're going to see that disc pop up right there. That is the subscribe button for my channel. Please give that thing a tap, and YouTube will let you know when I pop up with some new videos. Down below and off to your left, you're going to see a thumbs up button. Man, I feel like I'm on the ocean. See me bounce up and down. I'm sitting on an exercise ball right here. It's actually kind of comfortable. I know a lot of you know what I'm talking about. Down to your left, you're going to see a thumbs up button. Hit that thing, and that's going to also light up the algorithm. I love it. YouTube loves it. Mr. America Heart loves it. And that's it for today. I'll see you next time.